check me out. One of my previous videos here on What the Fulani, the second channel, I talked about how semen retention slowly breaks you out of the simulation. And in that video, I mentioned how you can use semen retention for pure purposes or dark purposes. It's just energy at the end of the day. It's a simple practice. It's not an easy practice, but it's a simple practice at the end of the day that can be directed towards whatever pursuit you may choose. And a lot of you motherfuckers in the comments are like, man, you need to talk about the dark side of semen retention. So I'm out here in the field, in the flesh, getting ready to drop you out that game so you guys can make these gains. Now, this is a pretty interesting topic in general because when I just looked it up right now on my phone, the dark side of semen retention on YouTube, just to see what other people are talking about it, a lot of people, I don't want to get too much on a tangent right here, but a lot of the semen retention content creators you watch here on YouTube don't really go deep into how just profound this practice really is. They treat it like NoFap, and you've heard me talk about how NoFap and semen retention are two totally different games, bro. They're two totally different sports. You're playing baseball over here and you're over there playing basketball. It's just you can't compare the two. So they kind of talk about how semen retention, the dark side of it, is that you get angry or you get frustrated, you get irritated. I'm not talking about none of that shit here, bro. Trust me. We're going to talk about more of the occult aspect of how this can be used for dark purposes. And one of the people who commented on that video I'm talking about is mentioned Orochimaru. And if you watch Naruto, you know who Orochimaru is. He's one of the villains, the bad guys. But he essentially has dark purposes. He's using all these different types of techniques and ninja arts and all these different overall kind of teachings to blend into his own system to eventually make dark magic, black magic. That's a perfect way to put it. Orochimaru is basically doing black magic. And one of the biggest ways people use semen retention for dark purposes is for black magic. Like, I'm straight up with you. Like, if you haven't delved into the occult, into a lot of these different deeper spiritual aspects of our reality, magic, I'm talking about M-A-G-I-C-K. Let me repeat that again, M-A-G-I-C-K. That type of magic, sorcery, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, it is based around your sexual energy. Most of it, if not the highest level of it, is based around your sexual energy, because they know that the people who can harness the power of the sexual energy, who can actually put it into motion to whatever they want to pursue, they can get it. Why? Because this is a generative source of power. It has the ability to create a whole nother human being. Of course, it's going to be able to help you create a business, or help you create your dream body, or help you create dark things too. Because the energy is energy. It doesn't know if you're doing something bad or good. And eventually, Mother Nature in itself, in my opinion, doesn't know what's good or bad or this and that. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. You as a man choose, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is this evil or is this light? Like, is it this and that? That's what's going on in your brain and your consciousness that labels these things. So semen retention is not a bad thing. I just want to make that clear. It's not something it's dark. Oh man, you're doing black magic by retaining your seed. No, you're not doing that. If you are, man, comment down below. I'm interested here how the hell you're using it for that purpose. But I just want to break it down in simple terms that it can be used for that. And Orochimaru is a good fictional character, but I want to bring it into a real life, real deal person who did this in the real world. And his name is Aleister Crowley. Let me repeat that again, Aleister Crowley. He called himself the Beast. He had his initials basically encrypted with 666. The devil symbol, the beast symbol, the antichrist symbol, whatever you want to call it. It's just numbers at the end of the day. We as men put labels onto it again, but that's what he went by. But essentially what this dude did was learn sex magic, learn semen retention, learn sexual transmutation, and was doing it to improve his black magic skills, improve his ability to do things like astral projection, do things like manifest situations into his life, do things like manipulate people to do what he wants. Because this dude was like basically hired by the English royalty to do stuff for them, to go speak at these things, to actually even go sometimes spy in an astral projection way, astral projecting in a way to spy on their enemies, which is fucking wild to think about that, bro. That, like, you might not believe all this stuff is legit, but like, dude, the smartest fucking people in the world do this. The richest people in the world know about this. Just the geniuses tap into this level that comes along with semen retention and celibacy, and just overall increasing your spiritual powers. Because like I've mentioned before on this channel, the spiritual is the top. This is where everything starts and this is where everything ends. It's just, this is the highest level. Then it goes into the mental plane. Then it goes into the physical plane. There's other planes in between that, but just on a very basic level, the solar or spiritual plane, the mental plane, and the physical plane. What starts here eventually goes into the minds of people, and the minds of people eventually act on their bodies, and their bodies eventually act onto the physical plane. If you increase your spiritual power, you're going to have more ability to influence people's minds. You have influence your own mind, and when you have more influence and control of your own mind, you have more influence and control of your body, which pans out the physical plane, which does all the work here on the physical plane, which manifests and materializes the things that are in your mind that come from the soul, the source, the higher planes. So think about that. These guys are doing all these type of things to increase the spiritual power, which if you look back, and I've talked about this on my main channel, and little side tangent again, man, I've been noticing that some of you guys come onto this channel, the second channel, What the Fulati, don't even know I got the main channel, Fulati Fitness. It's weird because they're like, man, you should post more and get going more in depth. I'm like, man, go check out the main channel. That's where the real sauce is at. I just come on here, spit my game, and some of you guys like more of just the raw talks, or just me just kind of blabbering on about these topics without any edits, without any cuts, without any fancy schmancy effects and this and that. And I like doing these, so I'm gonna keep doing these, and you guys like doing these. But for the people that don't even know about the main channel, man, go check out the main channel. That's where the real sauce is at, I'm telling you. But along with what I was saying on the main channel, I have the video, The Esoterics of Semen Retention, talking about how secret societies know about this, how ancient wisdom knew about this, where if you increase your spiritual power through acts of celibacy, semen retention, and essentially raising your level of consciousness from lust and animalistic behavior that makes you more beast than man. Man is in between. Man is in between the spirit and the beast. So if you bring the energy that comes from the beast, of course your reproductive energy, and you raise it up to higher levels, to where, like right here, let's say the solar plexus is man, or the heart chakra is the middle, is the man. That you realize when you open up your heart chakra, you connect with people on a more human level, and you see yourself in other people. You have love for other people. It isn't just, oh man, this person is doing his own thing, that person is doing it. You see the reflection. This person is some type of essentially mix of me, a different expression of me. You see the source, the unification with everyone. That's your heart. That's what makes you more a man than a beast. But the spirit is when you get to the crown. That's when you are basically completely illuminated into your soul, into the idea that you are not the mind, you are not the body, but you are the soul, and you are the consciousness observing all of this in play. You can say that as much as you want, and I can say that as much as I want, but that level of illumination, of self-realization, only comes when you've raised your level of consciousness and awareness and energy up to the point of regeneration, which sits at the crown. That's what they say. The soul sits in between your eyebrows, your pineal. That is where your soul resides, because you can't touch the soul, you can't see the soul, but you can feel it. And when you get into these stages of where you kind of open your third eye or open your pineal, you feel it right there. Like, I'll talk about that on later videos, but that's what you feel. And in that video, the esoteric semen retention, I explain how this correlates to the path of retention, of raising Kundalini up to those higher levels of regeneration. And when you're at that point, like I said before, it doesn't make you God or anything like that, but it allows you to increase your spiritual power. Like, if you've read any into these esoteric doctrines, you've heard about people that do similar things to stories in the Bible, miracles in the Bible, miracles in other holy books, turning water into wine, walking on water, doing this. People have been documented of doing that. You can believe it or not, it's just a book, it's a piece of paper telling you about the history, but I guarantee you, I promise you, there are people this very day with that spiritual power. And that guy like Aleister Crowley was one, but used it for darker purposes. So, things like, we hear about magnetism on semen retention, attraction on semen retention, that is very base level. I explain it again on my main channel. Go check out the main channel to talk about the metaphysical aspects and effects of semen retention, how it raises up your auric, your etheric body, the aura around you. That's why some people will be like, hey man, you're glowing. Oh man, you got like an aura to you, and stuff like that. Retention is helps in that aspect. And when you can do that, you can walk into a room and people will essentially be, you'll essentially be communicating with people on a metaphysical level, which directly impacts their subconscious and their on their psyche. You can communicate to them non-verbally, but it's imprinting your energy. You know, you got a thumbprint, you're thumbprinting them basically with your auric energy, because it's raised to such a high level. So when you're at that level, when you're really practicing semen retention to that extent, and you're blending in other spiritual practices along with it, because that's needed, and that's, if you're not doing that, you're not going to succeed on semen retention. Matter of fact, ebook out now, The Art of Retention, teaching you guys how to succeed on this practice, how to actually retain the right way. Made a whole video about that on the main channel, and you can go check that out. Ultimate Guide. And in the Ultimate Guide, you got free access to the ebook. So watch that video all the way through. If you're struggling on semen retention and you really want to boss up and really want to feel what this practice is really about, feel what I'm talking about, other people are talking about, how long streaks can really just change you on the mental, physical, and spiritual level, I got you with a full guide on the video. And after that, I got you with a full free ebook, bro. Like, after this video, if you don't go get that, man, that means you ain't truly serious about what this practice can really provide you. But let's say these people are practicing all these spiritual practices and doing semen retention and get to that level, and they can sense that they just got power, and power can make your ego amplify. And semen retention in itself will give you power, willpower, and overall, in a just general sense, it amplifies your what's already there. If you're already an aggressive person, you're gonna get hella aggressive on semen retention, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying aggression is a bad thing. Don't get it twisted. Aggression is an emotion. It is a act. It's this, it's that, but it can be used towards better, more productive uses, or it could be used for chaotic and destructive purposes. If you're a boxer, or you're doing martial arts, or you're a weightlifter and you hop on semen retention and you're already naturally aggressive, this is going to turn it up another notch, and you're going to be able to perform in your sport at a higher level with the type of practices to actually be able to help you control this energy. If you just go, you're already an aggressive person, and you do semen retention and then you're doing boxing and stuff like that, it's going to get too out of control. You need to learn how to control this energy and direct it towards the right way. But what I'm saying is it's just going to amplify it. It's just going to turn it from 10 to 100. And the longer you go, it's going to amplify more and more and more. But the longer you go, the only reason you can go longer is because you know how to control it, because you're using the practices like the stuff I discussed on my video and on my ebook. You cannot make it that far if you're not implementing other principles along with semen retention to help you cultivate the control needed for this. Or you're just going to crash out, burn out, get aggressive, and just explode basically, and you're eventually going to end up relapsing because you're like, man, I needed to just calm down. No, you didn't need to calm down. You just need to learn how to use this energy and supplement it in the right way. So if you're a person that already has a big ego and wants power, man, if you go on semen retention, man, that is gonna amplify. And some people, like Aleister Crowley, are just generally deranged and sick in the fucking head. So they hop on semen retention and they're smart enough to learn all these practices to go along with it, and they get to that point where they can manipulate people because they got the magnetic aura to them. They got the spiritual power, the Ojas Shakti to them. On Ayurvedic terms, that's what it's called. Your brilliant power or your aura is called Ojas Shakti. So if you're just walking about your day, bro, and someone, you see them, they're just like glowing, they're doing this, they're doing that, you're more likely to just attracted and magnetized to them. But if those people have bad intentions, dark intentions with your attention, they have dark intentions with your attention, because attention is a form of currency. It is the biggest form of currency in the world that we live in today. They can warp it and direct it towards their purposes. And their purposes might not be something that you agree with, but man, you are so enthralled, you're so, basically they hypnotize people. And you can say that I'm doing that on a certain degree, but hopefully my purpose and my intentions are more pure. Like, I'm not really trying to make a cult or do this and make you drink Kool-Aid and do this and do that. I'm trying to help you guys boss up to that point where we have a community of men who are literally have that type of power or magnetism to them, and use it for pure purposes to help other people elevate their lives. Because these secret societies, these Illuminatis, whatever the hell you want to call them, they use it for their gain only. Why do you think stuff like porn and stuff like that is pushed onto the masses? But if you go ask these secret societies, these millionaires, these billionaires, they don't touch that shit. They haven't touched that shit, or even they've grown up to the point where their parents and the people around them, the community around them, got them so far away from that, bro. They know the power of it, and they're the ones controlling, because they want the masses stupid and compliant enough to the point where they can just plug in whatever agenda they want into their brain and they'll go with it. And it's gonna make them profit, but it's a dark purpose, because you're dimming the light of man. You're dimming the soul of the masses of men. You're not illuminating them. While some people out there are doing it. I'm doing it on a very small level, but there's people who've came before me who've essentially brought up nations, teaching them about spirituality and spiritual knowledge and overall living at higher levels of consciousness. So people are doing that. Hopefully I'm doing that in your eyes, because I know I'm trying my best. But if these people have the understanding that how much sexual energy really rules a world, they're going to keep it to themselves. They're going to keep that knowledge to themselves, and they're going to use it for whatever benefits them, to whatever keeps them at the top level. They don't want competition. They don't want other people getting this power. They don't want other people getting this type of information, because that's why if you stumbled upon real deal semen retention content like mine and some other people out there doing it, not the no-fap shit where I'm doing it for female attraction. No, you're doing this to elevate your spiritual power, to eventually elevate every other aspect of your life, physically and mentally, because it all starts at the spiritual plane, like I said before, to eventually be able to materialize and manifest your desired outcomes in life, to actually have that power, that magnetic force to you throughout your life that helps you create your vision. Instead of creating a baby, you're going to create your vision, because that's what this source what it's all about. It's a generative source. If you want to go to a secret society that knows about this, the Freemasons, the G in their symbol, the G, it's a generative, it means generative principle, generative source. And they got one ruler like that. It's like a ruler or a compass or whatever it is that Masons use, architectures use at that time. And they got one like that. And it's supposed to represent a guy's legs, a male's legs on top of a girl's legs that are open. Generative source. Sex is a generative act. It's a creative act. They know that that is the highest form of creation. So they don't waste it. They know things about Tantra and other sources of ways to actually engage in physical acts of pleasure without spilling their seed. But they're using it. I'm not saying Freemasons, just Freemasons are bad or anything like that, because they're not. They're not. But there's bad people in everything, in every religion, and every philosophy, every school of thought. There's always some person that wants power, that wants that thing where people bow down to them, and they use these spiritual powers for that, because the spirit is pure, but the man is still is living in the animalistic side to him, where he wants power, he wants this, he wants that, but he's smart enough and cunning enough to use the spiritual powers to do that for him. It's very serpent-like, the snake in the Garden of Eden. He wanted to be like God. He wanted to have the power like God. So what did he do? He wants the knowledge. The fruit of knowledge is these types of things. And like I said on that main channel video, the esoteric semen retention, it's that whole story is symbolic. The tree of life is your nervous system, your spinal cord. The serpent on top going around that is your sexual energy, Kundalini. Kundalini is the serpentine energy at the base of your spine, the generative source of energy, your sexual energy, going up, and then eventually goes and gets the fruit of knowledge. Fruit of knowledge, pineal gland, the seat of the soul. You unlock those spiritual powers. You understand that you're not just the body and the mind, you're the soul experiencing all of this, and you illuminate yourself, but still, you got that serpent-like cunningness to you, that you still want to be in power. You want to be in charge of other people. Like, some people generally want that. They deep down, they really just want to be authority over people. And we're doing this, and like I said, imprinting your energy on the psyche of others is the ultimate form of that. And semen retention is one of the biggest ways you can do that. And if some sick fuck is watching this video, man, I'm spilling you the sauce, man. Like, I told you how this can go about, how you can even succeed on semen retention by getting my ebook, by watching my guide I just dropped, bro. Like, I'm giving you all the sauce, man. Don't blame it on me. You got to go out there and do it. But bro, this is what it does. Like Orochimaru, like, you get the knowledge, and you generate forbidden jutsus. You generate forbidden qualities to you that make you so hypnotic and so mesmerizing to people that they essentially just kind of like bow down to you and just follow you. You build cult-like followings. That's why a lot of these people, they can build cult-like followings, but for pure reasons too. Like a guy like Gandhi, who's celibate, and he did it. He was a old ass little fucking Indian man, bro. Like, raising up armies, man, of people, like, just to go and work for his vision, work for his cause. He was just filled with that aura and that magnetism to him, man. Someone like Osho built a whole ass fucking cult in the States, where essentially he became so powerful to the point where they tried poisoning the dude through his bed sheets, because the government's like, man, he's got his own special police force, he's got his own city, he's rolling around with fucking 100 Rolls Royces, man. Like, this dude's too powerful, and he's just some guru. He didn't have no straps on him, he had no muscles like that where he's just knocking people out because he's so powerful. No, he just imprinted his energy on the psyche of others. and you can say he did it for dark purposes or bad purposes or good purposes, whatever the fuck you believe. There's a lot of people out there think like, oh man, all leaders are bad. No, bro, some people are built to lead, some people are built to follow. The people who generally go on this path of self-mastery, semen retention, this and that, are built to lead. I'm built to lead. I've known that from the beginning, not the beginning of my life, but like I've known that from a younger age, bro. I'm not a follower, I'm a leader. And I guess a lot of you guys out there, even though you're following my advice, I'm trying to give you advice so eventually you become leaders in your own fields. And hopefully you're using it for the right purposes to help other people, to help elevate the consciousness of others. You're not just doing this solely for yourself. That's why you gotta open up that heart chakra. Some people can just skip the heart chakra, like I said before, and go straight to illumination, and they don't have the connection to other people. Like the chakras opening up doesn't have to go in order. You can open up this one first, bro. Like, but obviously you need the sexual energy to raise it up to that point. But you can be misaligned in the heart chakra. It might be over here, and everything else is going up. You got to bring it into alignment. You got to be balanced mentally, physically, and spiritually to eventually become the best version of yourself. Because the best version of yourself isn't just the best version for yourself. Let me repeat that again. The best version of yourself doesn't mean the best version, that's the best version of only doing things for yourself. The best version of yourself is doing things obviously for yourself, but to the point where you're good enough to where you can help other people's out and get to their best version. And it's a chain reaction, it's a domino effect that eventually helps raise up the souls of man, that helps raise up the collective consciousness of the world. So semen retention is a big proponent of being able to do that. That's why all the saints, all the greatest sages, all the greatest social movement leaders they did some form of semen retention or celibacy, because they indirectly or directly, because either they were so enthralled in their vision that they didn't even come across semen retention content or books or anything like that, that they were just so locked into the point where they did not care about low-level pleasures in life, that they were just doing semen retention without even knowing about it. But other people, they directly knew about it. Why? Because they studied ancient wisdom, or they were brought up in certain types of cultures that promoted it. But at some point, they were doing it, man. Like you just gotta research more and more into it. And in my book, the ebook that I'm talking about, that you guys can go get your free copy, man, I have a whole bonus chapter talking about all these different highly influential figures across time, from like Isaac Newton to some of the greatest gurus, some of the greatest saints, some of the greatest spiritual leaders, some of the greatest inventors like Nikola Tesla, some of the greatest athletes, philosophers, whatever you can think of, quotes of them speaking on retention, speaking on cultivating sexual energy, speaking on not spilling your seed for nonsensical shit. So you can see, because I dug up a lot of stuff, man, for that, man. It was not something you can just go Google search it, man. Like, I've been reading books about this stuff because I've been so not only helping you guys teach about it, but I've been learning step by step along the way. That's why I've made it so far into this journey, 3 years, which is not too long if you really think about the people I'm mentioning right now, where they went 12 years, 15 years, sometimes lifelong. They didn't want to have kids or anything. They went lifelong celibate. Guys like Nikola Tesla, guys like Isaac Newton, where they became insanely great inventors and minds in their own thing. And if you, coming back to the dark purposes, Aleister Crowley was the greatest magician, black magician, dark magician of his time. He was the most powerful and influential, and still people say that to this day. The people that are in those communities, in those cults, in those circles, they still say that. And he was literally mentioning how powerful sexual energy is. So you're hearing it from the good side and you're hearing it from the bad side. If you're that much of a fucking idiot to still watch this all the way through, whatever this 30 minutes, Jesus Christ, man, I'm spitting. I get in my zone out here, man. 30 minutes just off the dome out here. You dig what I'm saying? So if you're watching this and you heard the dark purposes, the good purposes, hearing from the bad people, the good people, the blah, 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 la, 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 la. And you still, like I said, you're too much of an idiot to actually realize that this is some real deal shit. This isn't some fairy tale stuff that you heard some YouTuber talk about. But there's great inventors, there's great leaders, there's dark leaders, there's dark inventors. Like, you gotta, at some point it's gotta click, man. Like, dude, you gotta give up this nonsense that's keeping you at your lowest form, because you could be the next greatest inventor, greatest spiritual leader, greatest athlete, or whatever the hell you want to be. Or you can even become the greatest dark magician, the next greatest just tyrant. Like, I'm not telling you to do that or not. There's gonna be the next person that does that, regardless if they watch my video or not. Maybe it's you, maybe your karmic debt is making you go towards that point. But if that is your karmic debt and you still see this video, you watch it all the way through, and you still don't understand that man's sexual energy, preserving it and supplementing it into a raw source of power can get me to that point, then man, you lost, and I gave you all the sauce. It ain't my fault, bro. It's your fault. Because at the end of the day, I can't hold your hand, help you through this. I told you I got you with a whole guide on my main channel and the ebook that you can keep with you and remind yourself and just get even more sauce from a daily meditation breath work specifically for semen retention that I've been using for this 3-year streak that I've been on, to a wet dream prevention protocol, to stuff about how to transmute it on the mental plane, on the physical plane, and the spiritual plane. Like, everything's there for you. And the people that watch us all the way through, bro, this is not for the average person. Like, especially this channel, especially this type of content on this channel, it's not for the average person. That's why eventually I'm dropping my Patreon page soon, where I'm getting even deeper than stuff I do on this channel, the second channel. That's gonna give you guys even more essentially tools in the toolbox to help you on this path. Not just only semen retention stuff, obviously the physical fitness and mental and psychological aspects, but also a lot more deeper spiritual practices that I can give out to people and they can go find it themselves. But I'm trying to give it to the people that are truly like tapped in, that like you don't like. This is not something you just go out and talk to your friends about. You don't go and just go on the streets and talk about this stuff, bro. Like, yes, semen retention, the main gist of it, yeah, everybody can learn about it. Everyone can practice it to a certain degree. But for the people that really want to use this and elevate into the spiritual power of it, man, like, you're a different breed. You're a different breed, and we connect on a much deeper level than the people maybe on the main channel that don't that can't watch a video without the effects, without the edits, this and that. Like, they just want the surface level stuff, even though my stuff is not surface level. I truly believe that it's on a deeper sense of self-improvement. It's on the next stage of self-improvement, of getting into self-mastery. But the people that want even more, that want to get even more, man, that's you guys. That is you guys. And like I said before, maybe you're doing it for a dark purpose, man. I'm not here to judge, but you're a different breed, bro. We really have the ability to tap into levels of spiritual power that people have been talking about for decades and decades and decades, but has been lost in the modern world today. This ancient wisdom has been there for a long time, man. And I'm trying to help revive it. And I'm trying to keep some of it my own secret society, because it's not for everybody. It's not for the mainstream people. It's not for the NPCs. It's not for the people who are even doing semen retention as like a little thing to get female attraction. No, it's for the people that want to elevate themselves to their peak performance in all aspects of life, to actually want to become the embodiment of their highest self. So you dig what I'm saying, man? This is a truly crazy practice, bro. When the more you look into it, like, I just dropped you all the sauce about how it can be used for darker purposes, man. Imagine if you could use it for lighter purposes, to create your own vision, to help other people out, to create their own vision, to eventually keep this going on, domino effect, to where the psyche of men, this type of community that we're building raises up, and we just grow and grow and grow, and we help essentially get us out of these dark times, these Kali Yuga, if you want to bring into the Vedic sciences that talk about how this is a dark ages where spirituality, spiritual knowledge is so dimmed out that people who are true seekers are hungry for it, man. And this is the only type of people that can gain it and help illuminate people back into the golden ages. Because that's the next cycle that we're gonna go into. Because on a small level, you've heard probably saying that hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and the cycle goes again. That's on a mini cycle. The bigger cycle is the yugas of Vedic sciences that I'm talking about. Kali Yuga is a long one, man. And we've been in that for a minute. But eventually the people who are truly serious about self-mastery and truly serious about becoming the best version of themselves and help provide and bring value to the people in the world, those are the people that are going to get us out. Is that you? Man, we'll only find out. But at the end of the day, man, it's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm out here. Peace.